10-year anniversary of the Crow. But sometimes you get wonderful people to work with. So Brandon definitely, meeting Cheryl Ladd in Atlanta, Georgia for breakfast when we were doing a Pia Zadora movie called The Voyage of the Rock and Roll Aliens with Craig Schieffer and Ava LaRue. It was a wonderful musical. Cheryl, I worked with her in the sense that she said, Michael, I'm going to do a special documentary on the young boy who was burned in Atlanta, and you all know the story. His father set on fire. And so the company, we were raising money and raising awareness with the documentary on the care of burn patients and the Atlanta Burn Center and what wonderful work they do. So she invited me to go along with her. So she is at Charlie's, she's an angel. You know, so to see people in my lovely industry do things that really matter. Paul Newman, when I met Paul Newman, he was doing Hudsucker Proxy, and I was doing The Crow with Brandon, and he said, I looked like the Skull Cowboy. We had a conversation, and he said, well, I told him about my surgeries and my father being a neurologist and facial cranial people that I've met. He says, well, me and General Schwarzkopf and Arnold Palmer do the Bogey Creek and Hole in the Wall gang. And so we sponsor surgeries for children, families in need that need it, and everything's paid for. And I go, wow, I would like to be involved in that. So in St. Petersburg, Florida, you can be very proud to know that there's the Bogey Creek gang. And they do wonderful, wonderful work. So being able to work with Paul Newman in that charity was phenomenal. And then I'll finish with this. When I was very young, my brother and I decided to take a walk. I lived in Santa Monica, and at 31 Flavors, they have ice cream. Well, anybody who's from the 60s, so there's something that makes you happy and jolly, and it was kind of fun. And I said, wow, munchies equals ice cream. So we went to get ice cream. There's children in the room, so I'm talking in code to all you grown-ups. And the CBDs, by the way, does stop cancer. I'm a big proponent of, real medicine. So we get to 31 Flavors, and there's nobody there except Rod Serling. Really. My younger brother, I'm probably 17. My brother's 3 years younger. And here's what my brother does. That's Rod Serling. I go, yeah, I know what we do. My brother does this. And I go, oh my God. He puts down some money and he runs out the door, and I follow after Rod Serling, and I go, oh, Rod Serling, stop, ignore my brother, he's an idiot, stop, I want to talk to you. And he tells his driver, just hang on. He's got a black Lincoln parked out on San Sandy Boulevard. And he turns around and he goes, what? Thank you. For what? Your brain. I go, why did you say that, Michael? And he goes, oh God, start the car. I go, no, please don't start the car. I'm really nervous, sir. He goes, you're a chain smoker, too bad. Could live longer. And he goes, look, kid, take a breath. You better? Yeah. What are you trying to tell me? Now slowly, sir, Mr. Serling, you tell really good stories. And he goes, okay, you got that out. Which ones? 25 minutes later, he was super nice. First story, of course, was, well, the handicapped husband that loved to read books, the wife wouldn't let him, da-da-da-da-da. Then there's a nuclear bomb, he's involved, he's safe, then he breaks his glasses, tragedy. I says, your writing skills are amazing. He goes, you sound slightly educated. Anyway, thank you, sir. And he said, well, look, it's been a delight talking to you guys. Thanks for being big fans. And by the way, I have makeup on because I just got through taping a show called The Night Gallery. You might like it. So I'm a fan too. That's my point. I used to go to Red Skelton's house. Richard was in my class. When he had leukemia, Red Skelton, who, by the way, when I was at the house, would come into Richard's room with toys and comic books. He would read comic books with his son. So all you parents, read with your children. It's wonderful. So I would go, Red, would you do Me Little Kid, please? Or Two Seagulls, Gertrude and Heathcliff. So the studios at the time, they didn't tape. It was all live. So when Richard had less than a year to live with leukemia, Red said, I'm going to take my family, my son, my daughter, my wife, and we're going to show them the world. And the studio said, no, you're not. We'll sue you. We won't have any content. He said, well, play the old shows. No, you can't do that. He goes, fine, then I'll give you all the publicity you want. We'll get back to you, Red. Well, I think it was Pan American or TWA said they sponsored the family. I got newspaper clippings, and then the studio gets back to Red and goes, well, you know, we think it'd be really good publicity if, and he goes, never mind. But my point is, that's the kind of people Red Skelton with. And at the end of his show, he would say, I want to thank our sponsors, thank our viewing audience. Good night for now, and God bless. And I said, you can't say God bless. Red goes, you know, what does it say above the door? So it's the Red Skelton Show? Well, my point is, as an artist, be true to your work and your craft and your art, and don't let anybody minimize what it is you have to say, because it's a gift, a real thing.
In the eras of filmmaking that you've done, what's your favorite? You've done 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s, 2010s that we're in right now. Which era of your film career did you find the most fun, I guess? Not the most profitable, but basically what
profitable
made you...
What's that? I still drive a 1987 F-250. 6.9 International Harvester diesel. Any motorheads? Yes. Motorhead. So, yes, I'm a practical guy. I would say I like the 70s because we didn't have all the glitz and special effects and post-production that's available today, which is pretty darn cool. I like the fact that you could make something work. The Italians are excellent at that. They can do light rigging in 5 minutes. A rope, a pulley, a cable, that'll work. You know, on a studio or a bigger production, everybody, no, you're not allowed to touch that, so that's my job. I mean, come on, we're family. So I really like more old school. I really love film. When we did One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, it was the only film I ever worked on with carbon arc lighting and Panavision film processed celluloid. Now, when you're doing carbon arc lighting, which, by the way, the French, who are very artistic, they bought all those because it gives a beautiful, beautiful dispersion of light. It's beautiful. Milos Forman, I worked with Claude Lelouch. People that love cinema, understand gray tone, chiaroscuro, all that arty-farty stuff. So I really love the art of the filmmaking, every aspect.
The Val Lewton movies.
Yes, yes, exactly. I also love, some of my most cherished possessions are, you can see them at some conventions, the vendors will have a piece of celluloid with transparencies. Yeah. Those are lovely, because we're talking about light. And I really love the concept of light because light is wisdom. Light is knowledge. It's information. We can't live in a world without light or love, really.
You seem to be versed in film production. Have you ever been on the other side of the camera?
I've directed a few scenes here and there at various moments. I am planning on, after I do my autobiography, to write my screenplay, finish it, and shop around with some friends that have been doing it for a while, all production. They have toys, cameras, all that good stuff. Yeah. I know composers, editors, and things of that nature. So yes, that'll be my crescendo.
These short stories, or that you like to film, things that you've written that you want someone to take up, and
Led Zeppelin. Oh yes, Led Zeppelin.
It is. I'm a Led Zeppelin fan. So yeah,
my Pandora kicked in. What happened there? That's a sign or something. What the hell was I saying?
Michael knows. Yeah.
Go ahead, man.
Michael's a real nature lover, and I'm a certified health educator, and when I teach stress reduction, I help people visualize their happy place or their special place, and I was curious if Michael had a special nature place, either a real live place or a place that he creates in his mind to kind of de-stress.
Yes, Michael, thank you very much. When I went to the Amazon, I very much appreciated the canopy, the lungs of Mother Earth. Fern Gully makes me cry, and I'm proud of that.
Avatar.
The Avatar, the Emerald Forest. If you haven't seen it, it's a must. So yes, it's the natural world that I find compelling. When I was listening to Rico talking. One of my father's patients was Lloyd Bridges. In 1964, I was certified as a NAUI certified expert diver. And my thanks was to Sea Hunt. I remember reading his book and how he didn't know his skills. He learned the skills on the TV show. It was wonderful. I'm an avid body surfer and boogie board surfer because I have short toes and I can't stand on the board very well. But as a diver, which I did for decades, north of Malibu near Ventura County line, one day I was scuba diving, and then the waves were great, so we had full suits and we were body surfing. I'm catching a wave, I'm this far out of the wave, having a great ride, and I look to my right and there is another body and my partner's to my left. I go, oh, is it a shark? What is it? It was a sea otter.
Not a seal, sea
A sea otter. And it looked up at me, rolled over on its back, and cut beneath me on the wave like, I'm having fun too. We surfed with a family of sea otters for 45 minutes. There was no other humans there. It was lovely. You see, another happy place, the ocean for sure. You can float, soar. The other special place was when I lived at a wolf sanctuary for many years. President Ford came to visit us and we showed him 2 pups that were being raised to be released in Yellowstone, which they were. I used to spend my afternoons sleeping with my head on the chest of a 110-pound black Alaskan timberwolf, Melatia. In Apache it means soft, gentle wind. She was my partner, basically. So yes, another wonderful moment in working on the Beastmaster. Out in the desert, we had a water truck, it was warm, I had swimming trunks on, I took my robes off, I was a Beto at Beastmaster Part 2. And we at the Wolf Sanctuary had other friends that had the movie animals, Gentle Ben, it's called Cougar Hill Ranch. We also knew Tippi Hedren's Shalala, wonderful place. And there's the Bengal tiger, Sheba. 800 pounds, chest this big around, and she knew me, I was her buddy. So here comes Nikki, trying to keep up with this bounding tiger who sees water. And she's been working, she's a little warm. She goes, oh, water, great, they love water. Then she goes, my buddy. Ba-dum, ba-dum, ba-dum. The only problem was the collar and leash was a chain. I go, oh, that's gonna hurt. Well, it didn't hurt me, but she came up beside me and threw herself into my lap. And I got my arms around the chest of this beautiful, beautiful animal, and she's rolling on top of me. One paw is the size of 2 of my hands. She takes her paws, puts them on my head, and licks me. Well, I've got 800 pounds of tiger on top of me and water, and she's purring. So if I need to go to a Zen moment zone, it's the reverberation of that beautiful animal reverberating all the way through me into Mother Earth. So yes, I believe as Thoreau and anybody else has explained and shared, when we are not part of the natural world, we forget that we are spirit blown into dust. Look it up. Beautiful. Thank you, Michael.
Beautiful. We have time for maybe 1 or 2 more questions here. Yes, sir.
Yeah, for Doc Savage or Cuckoo's Nest, I mean, I love both those films. Do you have any sort of behind-the-scenes stories or what the sets were like on those, films or things you'd like to talk about?
Thank you. Yes.
Yeah.
Well, Cuckoo's Nest was a real mental hospital. We did perform a lobotomy while we were there. On the TV show at night before the party, as Nurse Ratched said goodbye, the guy doing the news was the governor of the state of Oregon. It was really hard to find a place that would cover a story about mental illness, but it was a very important story and it did well. Now in Doc Savage, my first day at work, I was really nervous. So when I drive up in a car, it was an old car, and you can't take him to the shop. And here's what the driver says. Well, my driver happened to be Anthony Caruso, who was the Disney the Disney Indian chief with the mole, and in Star Trek, he was it was like, I like the heaters you got there, Shatner. Well, a lovely family friend. His son Tonio was an extra. So we're at Harold Lloyd's estate, coming up a steep driveway. We have to hit our mark, because you're in a tight frame, and if you go too far, no, you got to do it again. I want your head right there in the middle. So you're trying to stop this old 1930-something car with a slipping clutch. And I'm in the car with the radio with my friend Tony. I go, wow, you're here today. This is so cool. This is my first day at work, and we're gonna have a blast. And then we're missing the mark, and it wasn't his fault because the brakes and the clutch, his old car wasn't working well. So on the third go around, here's what we get from the guy who rented the cars. He goes, man, you got to hit it this time, otherwise they'll be really mad at me because it'll take me a couple hours to fix the clutch. It's slipping like crazy. I just poured 5 pounds of sugar in it, so it's all gooey and sticky. So please hit the mark. And here we go. For the third time, I go, oh man, this is so crazy. This is so crazy. And we nailed it. Moving on. So that was kind of cool. It's the little things. And also, if you're ever doing a film, you never want to film people eating food.
Yes.
And you never want to put food in your face.
Right.
And then for continuity, if there's this much water in the glass and then we switch around maybe to more hours later, it's got to be, because it distracts from. So my dinner with Andre was a masterpiece that even got through that. It's an old classic.
Who's your idol? Who do you idolize in terms of their work, in terms of film?
Oh, there's so many. Top of my head, I would say, oh man, that's a good question.
It's a lot. Do you have anyone?
Yes.
Well,
I really liked the gentleman from Combat, the sergeant,
Vic Morrow.
Vic Morrow. Very, very excellent. Robert Redford in his Twilight Zone episode.
The sun's coming close to you.
The father. I mean, the police officer.
Did you see his latest movie with, about the Appalachian Trail?
Oh, I have not seen it yet. Do want to see it. Yes, sir. Question.
Do you have any filmography bucket list things that you want to do, like certain people you want to work with, or
Oh, sure.
rom-coms?
Oh, sure. Duvall,
Yeah.
if possible. I loved working with Genevieve Bujold
Oh, really?
because her approach is just, it was like we were really in the atmosphere of that relationship and the scene. They just bring it home and make it really, really real. I felt like I had a history with her for decades. We just met. She was lovely. I would love to work with Robert Downey Jr. again in the drama. Robert is, I think, one of our most profound, talented actors. He was tremendous, and I'd like to see him in something totally different. Would be lovely. I would like to work with. Wow, I would like to do I did a music video with Queen Latifah, and she is so wonderful.
Did you really?
Yes, I would love to work with her again in something totally off the wall. Something very intimate and intense would be awesome. I'll come up with some more in a second.
Yeah.
Okay, you're headed back to your table.
No.
This is the last time you'll see Micheal Berryman in the state of Florida, but did you have something?
I was just going to say, you were really meant to be an actor. You were trying to go away from it, but you grew up around it.
Right.
Yes, I'll finish with this comment. Yes, as a child with a physical difference, in second grade I had my first haircut on Saturday morning. I was not happy, but it saved my life. My father told me, you can have a better report card, you have a good brain, I've seen it. Well, that was all fun. But in the real world, because I worked with many projects, anti-bullying, drug awareness, many, many things. And never for the grace of God go I. I'll leave you with this. This is one of my favorite things for my lectures. Okay, I want you all to do this. This is not a gun.
Okay.
Your thumb is an antenna to receive positive energy from a source higher than yourself. Your finger pointing out is every action, thought, and deed that you do throughout your entire life. What you put out, remember, thought creates, Your action is your engagement of your will and intention, and 3 times back it'll come to you.
Wow,
Be wise in your choices, Michael.
very good.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the best of us to fight. Mr.